Okay, so here we are on the Trade Talks podcast, hosted by the Glass Guys YouTube channel. Jay and I are here for a kind of year-end review on how social media has impacted this business over the last year or two, and what our expectations are moving forward. What some of the plans that we have are, some of the plans that we have that we've talked about that we're going to deploy, and what our expectations are. There's a saying from a mentor that Jay and I share that says, vision drives decision. And so we have a very clear vision of what we're looking to accomplish over the next year. And we're going to share that with you. But I think it's important to have these visions because your decisions that you make day to day, week to week, month to month will hopefully be rooted in getting you that much closer to reaching those visions. So how do you think social media how have you seen it help our growth over the let's just say last year?
Well, the last year, a perfect example is something that we go back to quite a bit, that one of our first opportunities from social media led us out to Big Sky, Montana.
Oh, that's right.
And earlier this year, we were back out there again for yet another project for the same customer, but that all spawned from social media. And it's a tremendous opportunity because it not only gets you out seeing different things, but you're kind of I don't know how to put it. It broadens your horizons a bit. You get to see how things are done in different parts of the country because we all know Florida has different standards than Montana, for example. Like we learned there's no building department out there. But it's also one of the most beautiful areas in the country.
Breathtaking.
So that was one.
And let's just dive on that real quick.
Yes.
Those weren't just small opportunities. These are six-figure opportunities per job off of a post.
Yes.
So virality has nothing to do with actually being able to monetize your social media. Because I think everybody thinks, well, I'm never going to go viral. People have been doing that for years. That doesn't matter. That's a trap. Virality means shit. You'd rather have depth. So if only 2 people saw it, but one of them happens to be building a home in Big Sky, Montana, and is willing to pay you $250,000 for your goods and services, and you can take your team to see something that a lot of us never even seen before, I think that's fucking awesome.
Well, they always say things happen if you're in the right place at the right time. Well, you can't be everywhere unless you're on social media.
You know what? That is so true. That's so true. You're one post away from really changing your life, if not the business, but your life. There's so many other things that have happened to us.
That's right. And also having the opportunity to go out there again with another close friend and counterpart of ours allowed us to play a nice little prank on him. So that was fun too.
You know what? That's a good segue. We're going to get back into some of the evolution of our social media and how it's impacted the business over the last year. But okay, what's coming next year? So we do a lot of motivational memes. We do a lot of kind of slapstick shtick, if you will, reels. We've been getting into a little bit more long form type of content. We're going to do a lot more of that this coming year because we're going to hire a full-time videographer for both of us. But I think another little kind of niche that I want to add to the social media is pranks. I've been at the butt end of some pranks within this company. Brandon Boyer shot me in the testicles with a Nerf gun. And by the way, that's not very hard to hit because the target is so large. But nevertheless, he conspired with the other people in there to lure me in and then made the shot and hit a bullseye. And today, actually, I'm going to get even with him. You're going to be a part of that. We're going to film that piece of content. But I think adding the kind of humor and kind of clubhouse mentality into our everyday work life, will add humor and positive. We have so much fun when we do this, but I think it's going to attract a lot more eyeballs.
Of course. I mean, the entire time, everyone always says the best times of your life are when you're a kid, right? But the whole time you're a kid, when you're screwing around like that, what are your parents saying? Grow the fuck up.
Grow the fuck up.
Right? We don't necessarily want to grow up I mean,
No,
we can be professional, but we can also have fun.
I think one of the deadliest combinations is to have a ton of fun while you're at work, while performing at a high level. And consequently, I actually don't think you can perform at the highest level if you're not having fun. There's a statistic out there that Mr. Voss also refers to in the neurological field that you're 31% smarter in a positive frame of mind. Well, when we're doing a lot of these jokes and pranks, we're usually crying. We're laughing so hard, which means we're in our most collaborative state. We can perform at the highest level because we're positive.
That's right.
So growing up, as they say, don't have any fun while you're at work. That's not good. That is not good. So I think we're going to pour gasoline on having fun this coming year, which will actually allow us to perform at a higher level.
If you're not having fun, that's when you get into that state of not wanting to get out of bed in the morning, not wanting to go into work. So why not have fun?
Yeah, what is it? Is it the stigma in society that's kind of programmed us to be like, while you're at school, you have to stay between these lines, and when you go to work, you have to stay. You cannot do this. This kind of authoritarian mentality.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of things. We're somewhat at the forefront of evolving this, but 50 years ago, you couldn't walk into a building without taking off your hat. Now, everywhere you go, people are wearing hats.
That's funny that you say that. It was even like, I can remember early on getting on an airplane for the first time. Most people on that plane were wearing like suits and ties and like it was a big deal to go.
And smoking cigarettes and sticking the ashes in the armrest.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I was on a Spirit airline, which I'm not a fan of.
Fuck.
And I was on a plane that still had those fucking ashtrays on the seats, which begs the question, how old is that plane? That'll never happen again. Yeah. My life's worth more than $150. I'll pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get back to the impact that social media has had on the business over the last year. What are some other things that we can share with the audience as to maybe help kickstart their 2024 business career by incorporating social media? What are some other things that have happened to us?
Well, again, like I said earlier,
Get my water.
if you're not out in front of people, they don't know who you are. They don't know what you are. But when you're out there constantly every day, you're the first person they think of. And another example, I had a gentleman reach out to me from Jacksonville, North Florida, and a very sizable job. And he learned about us all from social media. He didn't know who the hell we were, but he said, I see you guys all the time, and I feel like I know you.
That was, when you told me that really solidified. I was already a believer, but every now and then you start questioning because you're not getting the results that you want. And then you hear something like that, and it brings you right back to like, this is why we're doing this.
Right.
That guy he has never met either one of us.
Nope.
Has never seen or worked with our company other than on social media, and says to you, I'm willing to take on a job I've never taken on before with your help, and I feel like I already know you guys.
I trust you.
I trust you. What more can you ask for? And that was all because of social media.
That's right.
The amount of innocuous rapport that you're able to build is really the rub. I think most people think, well, I want to go viral. I want to get paid. I'm going to get these big influencing deals. Those are 1 in a million. That's like becoming a baseball player, Major League Baseball player. It's 1 in a million. You can still have massive amounts of success without having the virality or without having the brand sponsorship deals.
Yeah, that's right. And that's you hit the nail on the head. That's what people try and do. They think, okay, I'm going to put one video out there and it's going to skyrocket me to the moon. It doesn't happen that way. Matter of fact, a lot of these people that have a huge following and huge, what's the word I'm looking for?
Social community? Oh, interaction.
Interaction. A lot of that, they are centered around doing one particular thing. We still haven't found our niche yet. We're still learning, but we're getting ourselves out nonetheless, and it's bearing fruit. So time will tell. It obviously just get better and better as we start to hone in on what we're good at and what people want to see.
It's true. I think out of all the posts that we've ever done, we had the one us together that garnered maybe 350, 400,000 views. A little bit before that, you made a reel about a railing job. It was a competitor, and then we went and fixed. That went off. That was like 500,000 or 300,000, a lot.
Yeah.
And then just recently, we shared a video of someone else's that went off. But we actually never really got any direct business from that. However, there's been many other videos that we've done where we've got immediate business from. And so my advice to anybody that's thinking about leveling up in your position, no matter what it is, I don't care if you're a janitor, an order entry, a high-level executive, an on-the-road salesman, you're building your personal brand through the social media. You can talk about or do anything because people do business with people they like. And you are 6 times more likely to do business with someone if they like you. So again, you don't have to talk about your job. You could talk about beer, anything that you know anything about and can attach some of this social media to could potentially make you more likable to a certain segment or segments of people.
Yeah.
That's why we kind of do content all over the map. And maybe by the end of next year, we'll have enough out there where we can start to hone in what works best for this business and for us. But
Yeah.
until then, we try everything.
And that's the thing with that is we're collecting data on that actively
Yeah.
on a weekly basis to know what's working, what's not. So that's why a lot of times you'll see things are, somewhat all over the place. But number one, we're having fun doing it. And number two, we're finding our niche.
Yeah, and we still put the links to our website in every page. Maybe eventually we have some merch that we're selling or we're representing that we wear or talk about. And so when you do all types of content, you could potentially attract some things to your business that you might never thought would be a fit at all. It could be protein shakes. It could be, it could be tools. It could be vehicles. Like our friend from Sam Galloway.
15 years ago, we said we would never do anything outside of shower doors in this business.
Now we're getting paid to do social media. That's unbelievable.
That's right.
The ironic thing is when we were having a real lot of fun when we were younger, we'd say, thank God there's no cameras. And now here we're trying to capture all of the stupid stuff we're doing as we get older because we know it's going to benefit our business. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. So what other plans do you have? Any other ideas for 2024? Anything else that you're thinking of or hoping for? You have a vision?
Well, the vision is always to continue growing and growing exponentially. And I think we're starting to get on that right path. Consistency for us is a little more consistency and really just pulling all that data together and finding what our niche is.
Well, we're going to make a hire at the beginning of the year. We're going to hire a full-time individual. So there will be an abundance of content. I would say double the amount going out every day consistently because we're going to hire a full-time person to do it. But everything that really everybody's seen up to this point has been stuff that you and I have produced.
Right.
Had a little bit of help on the side, but we've been in and we're also doing our everyday job. So we're kind of stifled in both sides. We can't grow one as fast as we want to because we're busy over here growing this. So we're going to delegate some of that, which I think is going to add to the quality and frequency. I'm really looking forward to it. I think 2024 is going to be not only our best year for business, but growing our brand through social media. And I think it's going to be the year that opens up the most innocuous doors that you and I have ever seen, whether it's more speaking engagements or, like I said, merchandise or brand deals. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's got the feelings and the makings of a turning point. Kind of like when you make your first all-star game and then all of a sudden you're a perennial all-star. That's what we're looking for.
That is exactly what we're looking for. I can feel it in my loins. I know it's happening.
That's just the Nerf bullet.
That's the Nerf bullet. I cannot wait to prank him later today. I mean, we're going to set it up. We're going to video it. We're going to capture the whole thing on tape. It's gonna
And
be
you're
great.
all going to see it.
It's going to be the best Christmas present ever. Brandon, you're fucked. What else? Anything crazy lately that's happened to you in or out of work that you want to talk about regarding social? Oh, you went back north.
I
You
did.
went back north, which is in the Northeast,
Yes.
Massachusetts. Good old Western Mass, the 413. And you said that some of our content has landed upon some of the eyes of people up north that you had no idea were consuming the content.
Yeah. So the interesting part about that, you and I talked about this a bit. I came back and I said, you're not going to believe how many people came up to me and said, oh my God, I watch all your videos, and, little comments like that. And I'm thinking, I had no idea, because you never interact with them. You never like, you never comment, you never share anything. So there's another learning lesson if you're getting into this. Sometimes people, especially when you're pushing the envelope, sometimes people, if they click like on something or they comment on something, they view it as an endorsement of what it is. And a lot of people have a fear of getting out there and doing maybe things that are a little bit crazy.
It's not that they don't enjoy the content, but they're afraid of being judged from enjoying the content.
Correct. And I told you, I do that myself. Like, I see certain people that I respect, and I see them like something that, maybe aligns with some of my beliefs, and I'm like, oh, okay, I had no idea. And I make that judgment off of it. So I can see where people would do that.
Well, and the fear side is way more stronger too than something that you're like most people I think aren't sharing or commenting. And by the way, just a little side note, if you want to help a friend, a fellow entrepreneur, another business, but don't want to spend any money or lift a finger, one of the best things that you could do is share and comment. And man, if you could do all three, that's the best. If you could like, comment, and share any and all their posts, that helps them considerably on so many different levels. On a mental standpoint, like, wow, people are watching this and they support me, so that's good. 2, it's going to help the algorithm. You're being more relevant, and the more people that share it, the faster that snowball starts to roll. I think that's one of the best things. I engage in a ton of content, not only producing and posting, but trying to engage in other people's content. Like Charles.
Yeah.
Charles, you know who you are. I tell people all the time, Charles doesn't post hardly anything, but Charles has made a name for himself by his comments that he puts on other people's posts.
Very active.
They're not just like emoji, oh, that's awesome. They are thoughtful, multi-sentence comments that bring value and are very encouraging. And he's made a name for himself on social media, and he doesn't even really post anything.
And people read those comments.
Absolutely.
It's not just, oh, Charles commented on something. People actually read them, and they see what he has to say.
And someone might say, wow, that was such a nice comment. I want to do business with Charles. What does he do? And they're not even really engaged in our content. They're just engaged in his comment.
Yeah.
So there's so many facets to the
Yeah,
social.
he gains from the unintended consequence of that.
As it should be. You do a nice deed for somebody, and then boom, it comes back to you. And so he's playing the long game, and he's winning.
Absolutely.
He's winning. So thank you, Charles. But again, if you want to help anybody out that's on social media, whether they have a business, any position, anything at all, like, comment, and share. That helps more than you'll ever know. You probably think, well, just one share is not going to do anything. No, it could do a lot.
Not everybody watches the same TV channel. So if you're running a commercial on one channel, you're not going to get it to so many eyes. But if
Yes.
a producer from ESPN takes it over to ABC, well, guess what? Now you've got 2 different venues, and all these ABC viewers are seeing it.
Absolutely. Like, one of my friends might not have the same. We might share a few mutual contacts, but by them sharing it could potentially build our brand by showing a whole new group of people that were not in tune to what we were doing. So it can have a massive impact.
Yeah.
And you're really, again, like I said, you're one post away from changing everything. I always like talking about that that Ocean Spray video
Yeah.
of that guy with the Fleetwood Mac on the skateboard a couple years ago. Maybe it was during COVID. And Ocean Spray said all the data that they've collected over, decades and decades from all the grocery stores and all the shelves that are ordering and stocking up, they were able to quantify that after that video, over the next month or so after that video, that one video was responsible for selling every bottle of Ocean Spray cranberry juice in a much quicker period of time than it has in the history of the company.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising. This was one post that they didn't pay for that had that type of effect on their business.
And how do you think it got everywhere?
People were sharing it,
That's right.
and it kept sharing it and kept sharing it. And he ended up unknowingly got lifetime supply of cranberry juice. I think they gave him a pickup truck and maybe a job within the marketing department of Ocean Spray or one of its affiliate brands. And that was life-changing for this individual. I think his name was Dogface. He had like a feather tattoo on his head. I think he was an Indian.
So Dogface got a job, a new pickup truck, and he's never going to have to worry about kidney stones.
That's right. Or UTIs.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And cranberry juice?
No, that is not. That is part of the electrolytes that we still have left over from the Gary Brecka fast, that 72-hour fast that we did.
That's right.
How do you feel since that, by the way? Have you noticed the difference? Or
I have noticed the difference in several areas.
I was going to say which one, because I feel tighter in the midsection.
Agreed. You feel it. Like it's
Yes, and I can
just
see it.
It feels different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very mentally challenging.
That was the hardest part for me,
I think. What do you think the hardest part was, the beginning or the end?
the beginning. My mind, I just want it to be over towards the end, but the beginning, because I'm so used to snacking and picking like all day long.
Right.
There's never 2 or 3 hours that goes by where I'm not eating something. So the first 24, 36 hours was the toughest. And then after that, when that kind of subsided, went through this kind of transition period where I wouldn't say it was hallucinating, but it was just a different feeling, like euphoria maybe. I don't know what it was.
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, you may have seen Dana White talking about this, the president of the UFC. He's the reason why we did this, because we saw his video on it. There's a local nutritionist, doctor here in town, Gary Brecka,
North Naples.
who was guiding Dana White through this process. It was an 86-hour fast of water only. You're only allowed to have water. You can have water with electrolytes in it. And then after 24 hours, you can have a specific type of bone broth twice a day. And that's it. But what it does is it kills off all the dead cells, or I'm sorry, not the dead cells. It kills off, you can't kill dead. It kills off all the bad cells in your body, and then new ones start to regenerate. And there was a statistic, and maybe you remember the exact number of it bringing down your chances of Alzheimer's, cancer.
70%.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
It's a huge number.
Fucking massive number. And even, let's just say it's a sham, which I don't believe it is, but let's say it's a sham. What damage did you do to your body? You didn't eat any sugars. You didn't eat any bad food
Right.
at all.
And lost a little bit of the fat, too.
And you challenged yourself. You found out that you could go 72 hours living on water.
Right.
And if I had to go without the bone broth, I'd be happy. I hated the bone broth. Oh, ugh.
I will say, if you do choose to do that, be very careful your first time drinking alcohol after that, because
Oh,
your tolerance level goes down real quick.
oh. How many
Didn't
cocktails?
realize that.
How many cocktails were you in before you were a little loopy?
I'm going to plead the fifth because
Oh,
I don't want to get called the pussy.
okay. But it wasn't the normal amount,
No.
a fraction. Sounds like
It
you're
was
a cheaper date.
It was a yes, cheaper date. The problem is I don't remember the date.
And you have more of a six-pack now.
Yeah.
Gary Brecka, I believe, used to work for a major insurance agency, and because he's a biological scientist or some, he doesn't consider himself a doctor. I don't believe he's more of I don't even know.
Smarter than you and I.
Biologist.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But when he explains stuff, man, does it make sense to me? And he's right here in Naples. And when he explained that fast to me, I said, we got to do this. Even if we're just challenging ourselves to do something together, I thought was good. But I'm seeing the benefits from it. And consequently, not eating all the breads and sugars for that 72 hours actually helped wean me off it, because I can have a tendency to have a sweet tooth. And I know that's not good for me in so many ways, but I did it. And so during that time frame, since then, I haven't really dove back in. And I tried to once, and actually it was like,
Your body rejects it.
it did.
Yeah.
It tasted like shit. And I felt guilty for doing it. And that's kind of doubled down on not eating it. So that, if anything else, that was a win.
Yeah. It's like you've put all this work in. Why are you going to go back to, so you just wash your truck and you go drive it through mud?
Yeah. No.
I mean, some people would, but
I'm a pavement princess. I like to keep my truck nice and clean.
free of paint from other vehicles too.
Plead the fifth. We're getting close to, it's 5 after 4, so we're going to get close to pranking up Brandon. We're going to get that on tape.
Yeah.
But why did we start talking about Gary Brecka? Oh, you asked about the electrolytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. There's someone else. Like overnight, that guy became. I mean, I'd known about him. Matter of fact, we did work for a contractor that was. We met him.
That's right.
Really down to earth guy.
Yep.
Spent about 30 minutes talking to us. Was super cool. But goes on the Joe Rogan podcast. Boom, blows up. Before you know it, he's with Dana White. They're doing stuff together. I saw him on Kardashians. I saw him on it was some news channel. I can't remember what it was, but I've been seeing him everywhere since this. And he does all these keynote speaks.
And he does a lot
speeches.
of social too.
A lot of social. So, Gary Brecka, if you want to help out local entrepreneurs here in North Naples that are fans of yours, we would encourage you to come into our studio here in North Naples. We could offer you some hydrogenated water and some of the electrolytes. You're welcome to have all the leftover bone broth. I fucking hate that shit.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is hydrogenated water?
He's talking about these things. You put your bottled water into it and you hit this button and there's all these ions or whatever. It does something to the water. I think adds hydrogen to it. And they did a study when he was working for that insurance company. The one common thread in anybody that had any illnesses, cancer, Alzheimer's, all this stuff, was lack of oxygen, I believe. And by having the hydrogenated water, it does something to help with the oxygen levels within your gut and your body to help mitigate these diseases from happening. Because the people that they tested that were extremely healthy had much different levels of...
You're taking away the breeding ground.
Yep. And again, it seems the way it's being marketed, because all the other trash that's out there, it can kind of seem gimmicky, but when you listen to why he believes it works, it's kind of hard not to get behind. I'm going to get us a couple of those bottles coming into next year so we can live longer. That way we can podcast longer.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I see this eventually being a media arm back here. Maybe we start in 2024 too. I want to start live streaming. So I go live sometimes on Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn. I think I've maybe had 8 or 10 people pop on at once. But if I could use like StreamYard or one of these platforms where I could go live on all the platforms at once while we're doing this.
I remember about a month ago, you were on a live and you wished someone from the UK a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, that's right. Well, it was the day before Thanksgiving,
I get it.
and I'm in the I was
You
very
should've-
grateful to be invited on there, and it just seemed like the right thing to say. But
You should have wished them a happy Independence Day while you were at it.
yeah, I guess I didn't think of that. What can I say? America's the GOAT, right? Back-to-back World War champions. It's true.
It's true.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna shut it down.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get out there and get that.
I bought this
gonna-
fart spray.
I was gonna say, do we want to disclose it?
Yeah, 100%. I saw this channel where they do a lot of pranks, and this common one is this fart spray. And let me tell you, I bought it on Amazon. It's $10.
He sprayed it. I thought he shit his pants, like legitimately, like there was a turd in his.
It's one
undies.
thing, when somebody farts, you could, okay, that's fart. But then when you walk by a pile, if you've ever walked by a pile, it just has more of a punch to it.
I think all you San Francisco people know what we're talking about.
Yeah. You know how like there's dog shit, but then it smells different when you step in it?
Yep.
It's like that level. And so this spray is even above that. And it lingers. And Bryce said the same thing. I was in his office this morning. I'm going to post that video too. And I squirted. When I went in there, I'm like, oh, God, my stomach's killing me. Oh, my stomach's killing me. And the phone rang. So when he answered the phone, I squirted it. And he got off the phone. He's like, there's no way that's a fart. You literally had the shit in my trash barrel. And I'm trying to act like my stomach hurts, but I'm fucking dying inside. And it was so bad. I couldn't stand it. I had to get out of there. So we're anxious to not only, I'm not doing one squirt in Brandon's truck. It's going to get loaded up. I got to put a little glove on because I don't want to get it on my fingers. But I'm almost certain that he's going to vomit because the windows aren't going to be down, and you smelt it.
Oh yeah.
That's close quarters in the pickup truck. So.
And it's a cooler day today, so he's not gonna be driving with the windows down.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
Let's sign off. Wish everybody a happy and healthy Merry Christmas to you, Jade.
Merry Christmas and a prosperous and happy New Year.
And healthy New Year. And maybe we'll do one more podcast before the end of the year. Kind of a wrapper. We'll wrap it up. Until then, don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert button on the